live here on the Boxing Fanatico YouTube channel. Let's go ahead and switch over to my face. Hold on 1 second. And of course, we got to start off with the ceremonial. The always welcomed onto this channel, Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to...
We gotta hit it with. We gotta start it with it. We gotta start it with that. Hashim 47 coming in with the Let's Go Champ. What's going on, brother? Glad to have you in here. Glad to see you. As always, much respect, brother. You right. We made it. Episode 20. We've hit episode 20 of the Boxing Fanatico live stream. Make sure you guys could hear me good. Yes, you guys can. So we've hit episode 20. My mic is low. I'm good now? Okay. All right. Cool. Maybe it was low because it was mixed with the music from the starting soon screen. All right. So, yeah, we hit episode 20. I'm super hyped. I'm super proud that we've been consistent. Every Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. I mean, it's fun, too. It's fun. I love the conversations. I love the back and forth. I love the debates. It's just fun. It feels like I'm talking boxing with friends that know about boxing. So it's a very fun and engaging experience for me to be live with you guys. Catman785. I can't wait till Spence breaks Crawford. Just watch. Woo. Hold up.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hold up.
Let's
get ready to rumble. Oh, man. We got to get ready to rumble, man. Yandez, we in here. What's going on, brother? What's up? Adrian Dones, what's up, Fanatico? How you doing? And who you got in this fight? Me? I got Bud Crawford. I've already put my prediction out there. I do need to preface that by saying, because I have Bud Crawford does not mean that I like Bud Crawford more than Errol Spence Jr. It does not mean that. I don't pick people because I like somebody or I don't like somebody for whatever reason. I just look at the stats in terms of the numbers, and I look at their styles and their accomplishments all into one, and I come up with a prediction that I think is going to be accurate. Not a prediction that I hope will be correct, a prediction that I believe to be correct. And normally, I'm pretty good on my predictions. So yes, I'm predicting Terence Crawford to win. I just think that he has more tools in his toolbox. When it's all said and done, I think he's going to be able to. I have a prediction for him to knock out Errol Spence and keep his 100% welterweight knockout ratio going into this fight. Somewhere around after the 6th round, around anywhere between 6th to 11th round, he'll probably score a knockout, in my opinion. All right, so hold up. So the number one question that I want to talk about is Terence Crawford's defense. Now, I want to hear from you guys before I speak on it, before I give my 2 cents. Who do you guys think, well, how do I frame this where it makes the most sense? Does Terence Crawford have worse defense than Errol Spence Jr.? Does Terence Crawford have worse defense than Errol Spence Jr.? I'm not knocking it at all. I definitely see Crawford can win. Errol definitely has to watch out for that counter uppercut. Errol sometimes gets gets his head too far over his feet when pressing forward. I agree with that. Anthony Merchant, what's going on, guy? What's going on, brother? So before I move forward, I want to know what you guys think first. I want to get a temperature of what you guys feel before I say anything. West 931. I have Spence winning, but Bud has better defense in my opinion. Okay. I see. Hey, look. This is a good assessment here. He feels that Spence is gonna win, but he still feels that Bud has better defense. That to me comes off as an unbiased statement. That looks like an unbiased statement to me. So kudos to you for coming in and just being real, just being honest. Sometimes people could just be fans of fighters and they become a little bit disingenuous with their arguments. But so we got West 931 who feels that Bud has better defense. Anybody else have their take on the defense between Bud and Spence? Bud defense is better, and I'm a Spence fan. Okay, Catman 785, another person saying that Bud Crawford has better defense than Errol Spence Jr. Let's look at what Yendez says. I think Crawford gets touched more than he needs to on the inside, but mid-range and long range, I think Crawford sees punches much easier and rarely gets caught there. Okay. Cool. I mean, one thing with Terence Crawford is he likes to go for the knockout. He likes to proactively, he's not gonna get so out of his way to get a knockout because that could become very dangerous, but he does proactively kind of fish for the knockout. And when you're fishing for the knockout, you sometimes gonna get hit a few times here and there. I've only seen Crawford stunned and drop, so I would say Spence. Okay, Aritis says Spence has better defense than Crawford because he's seen Crawford stunned and dropped. Okay. I mean, you haven't seen Spence stunned? It looked like he was stunned in his last fight to me. Looked like he got a little hurt in his last fight. Keyshawn Armstrong, what up, Fanatical? I believe Bud's defense is solid and he's a counterpuncher. Am I right? I think his defense is better than Spence. Okay, so we got Keyshawn Armstrong saying he thinks Bud Crawford has better defense than Errol Spence. Daniel Henry, Bud is amazing with his counter left uppercut to the body. Yeah, he does that a lot. That's a southpaw killer. Yeah, the liver is more exposed. Like he did to Ndongo. Could see Spence getting hurt by this. Okay, Yandez, Spence got a whole compilation of getting stunned, and someone pointed out that is damn near the overhand all the time. Yeah. Hey, listen. So, sometimes you see what you want to see when you watch boxing. Sometimes you see what you want to see when you watch boxing. Spence has been rocked too. Go watch Lardy fight. Yeah. Once again, sometimes when watching boxing, you see what you want to see. Now, the reason that I started this video in this fashion with this topic is because number one, there ain't nothing more fiery and hot than the conversation between Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr. I get that there's rumblings of Devin Haney and Tank potential showdown, which is very possible considering the fact that Haney's 3-fight contract is up. He did not re-sign with Top Rank, so he's essentially a free agent. He could sign with the PBC, do another 3-fight deal so that he could secure maybe a rematch against Tank if they were to fight. He's a free agent and it makes sense, right? They could have Tank essentially become undisputed very, very quickly. And remember, undisputed trumps mandatory, so he could fight against against Devin Haney for undisputed, and he does rank. He is ranked in the division anyways for those belts, but he doesn't have to be number one contender. So we could get that amazing fight. LOL is pronounced K-Sean. K-Sean. Oh, I see it's K and then Sean. Got you. K-Sean. No worries. Key thing, stunned and dropped. Okay, I thought you said you seen him stunned. Okay, you seen him stunned and dropped. All right, and you've only seen Errol Spence stunned. Gotcha. Okay. I have Bud via round 12 KO after being beat up and behind considerably on 2 cards. That's a very specific prediction. This fight will take a lot out of both men. Okay, all right. Okay, so we talked about the Tank and the Haney. If that starts to develop a little bit more, maybe I'll talk about it, or maybe in my next video I'll talk about it. But this is an interesting topic to me. I've been seeing in the social media space, on YouTube, and all over the place, that Errol's gonna catch Bud with something because Bud's defense is just not like he's defensively irresponsible. When he comes in, when he's inside, and he doesn't do the smart thing defensively, especially after throwing combinations or before throwing combinations or just in the exchange. He's not focusing on his defense, while Errol Spence is more defensively sound. Do you guys agree with that assessment? Yandez, should Bud win this and somehow beat Charlo? Is he like all-time top 20? It's hard to say because you also have to gauge the level of competition in this era of boxing. Is the level of competition in this era of boxing, for example, is even a Charlo himself, that big of a deal in comparison to something like a Marvin Hagler, right? So like, yeah, they're good, but then you have to compare the competition, not just Crawford and his accomplishments, but the competition in comparison to fighters of the past. So it's not an easy thing to do. It's not something that you could just say, yeah, instantly. If he does that, it's automatic. It's something that you'll have to actually completely assess and break down. We got Scullo X-Men. What's up, Fanatic? Salute, Fanatico. What's going on, brother? What's up? Errol is good at cutting off the ring, but has good footwork. So that sounds like a rock and a hard place right there. That sounds like when an immovable object, or when a unstoppable force meets an immovable object right there, right? So we got, that's what makes fights good 50-50 fights. That's why this is one of the best 50-50 fights, man. This is one of the best 50-50 fights because they have contradicting elements to their game that fight against the elements of that are positive for each fighter, right? So good footwork for Bud, but Errol Spence is good at cutting off the ring. Who's gonna win that battle, right? They're both gonna be doing. Bud could switch stance, but Errol Spence is a natural southpaw fighter, and Bud is comfortable in the southpaw stance. Who's gonna win that battle? Bud makes his punches count, so he doesn't have to throw so much. Errol Spence throws volumes. He throws hard punches in volume. Who's gonna win that battle? Is volume gonna win, or is those one punch heavy punches gonna take over and win the fight for Terence Crawford? It is a very delicate balance because of the fact that they both have contradicting elements to each other's style. Hell yeah, at Yendez, I would be heartbroken. Wait, you'll be heartbroken at what? If he beats Bud, if Bud beats Spence and then beats Charlo? Damn. I mean, he'll be a beast, but I don't know where that would put him. It's going to be tough. Like I said, it's just going to be tough. Anyways, that was a narrative that was being driven by social media. In my opinion, Bud Crawford has better defense than Errol Spence Jr. So if you're looking for a thing to give to Errol Spence to say, hey, look, this is what's going to give him an edge to win the fight because you maybe want Errol Spence to win, it ain't defense. It ain't defense because Errol Spence gets hit. He gets hit a lot. So if you guys want to say that Terence Bud Crawford gets hit, Errol Spence gets hit more than Terence Bud Crawford, right or wrong? Right or wrong? 3 times undisputed, he would be a legend. I know that's kind of insane. That's kind of insane. 3 times undisputed in the 4-belt era, that's kind of insane. Because, I mean, he would, first of all, he's going to become a legend by doing 2-time undisputed if he beats Errol Spence Jr. But if he then moves up and beats Jermell Charlo, then, oh my goodness, he'll be 3 times undisputed in just a matter of like, in the span of what it would take to do that, it would feel like a matter of seconds from him doing the Spence fight to going up and doing the Charlo fight. I don't know what 1P means, but good to have you here, brother. It might be the case of who has the better chin if both get touched. Who has the better chin? I don't know who has the better chin. It's hard to gauge. Nobody ain't never knocked out Terence Crawford. If we're making a top 10 list based off of strictly abilities and throw accolades out the window, is Boots top 10? If we're making a top 10 list in reference to what, like of all time? If we making a top 10 list of all time, or are we making a top 10 list like just of right now? My man said right now. So we making a top 10 list of right now. Jerron Boots Ennis, where does he fall? Does he make the top 10? That's tough, man, because we got people like Dimitri Bivol, we got Usyk, we got Tyson Fury, we got Inoue, we got, oh man, this is not easy, bro. We got Shakur, we got Errol Spence Jr., who's one of the guys up there right now in the top 10. And this is not looking at accomplishments. I'm just looking at skills and talent. We got Tank. It's tough, man. I'm trying to see if I could get him into it. These are not people that I'm ranking. I'm not ranking them right now. I'm just trying to see if I could get them in to the top 10. Who else we got, man? Cause we got Artur Beterbiev. We got Devin Haney. We got Lomachenko. It's tough, bro. It's tough. In terms of like flashy like style, kind of like maybe you could squeeze them in a little bit. It's just hard. It's hard because accomplishments are also like anybody could look mad flashy against anybody, right? I mean, Prince Nassim Hamed was super flashy and looked real cool and real smooth, but then he fought Marco Antonio Barrera and just got washed. So it's like, if you could be flashy against high level fighters, like what Roy Jones Jr. was doing when he was fighting the likes of James Toney, that's a different story. But right now, it's tough. It's tough, man. It's tough to put him in the top 10 because even though we haven't seen, like, the skills matter when in comparison to people that can suppress your skills. So even though it's not accomplishment based, to be able to pull that trigger and say he's better than all these other guys like a Shakur and all these people, I have to see, like, I don't know, I have to see him be able to be skillful like that against fighters that don't make it easy for him. In his last fight, he didn't look super flashy like he normally does because that fighter he was fighting didn't really make it that easy for him. With Roy Jones, it was like up until the Roy Jones decline, he was looking flashy against all comers. So I don't know, man. I don't know. It's tough. It's a tough thing. I'm not saying no. I'm just saying it's hard for me to say right now with all of the different talent that's in boxing right now to put him in the top 10 off the skills alone. I'm on Terence Crawford's side. Okay. I see you. Good. Hey, listen. Everybody got a side, man. I technically I don't have a side. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? I'm just picking and predicting. Get them likes up. Stop ducking the like button. Hey, listen. Hey. Stop ducking the like button, man.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Stop ducking the like button. He's right. He's right. He gets a Ready to Rumble for that. He gets a Ready to Rumble for that. And Inoue, Bivol, and Shakur is my top 3 on the pound for pound list, not looking at accolades. Inoue, Bivol, and Shakur. Okay. I mean, Bivol's a beast, man. Bivol is a beast. Proven ability doesn't count as accolades in my opinion, so I get what you're saying. Exactly. Accolades is like you winning, world titles and you're beating, I just want to see him do that stuff against somebody that like is a high level fighter too. And then if he could pull it off against those guys, that's a different story. If he could pull it off against those guys, that's a different story. But yes, as Yendez says, like up the stream. Hit the like on the stream. All right. So I want to bring you guys attention to something real quick. Let's go over here. And the reason I want to bring you guys attention to this is because I kind of want to let people know the stats of who actually has better defense. Like, let's look at the stats of who actually has better defense. Hold on. We got Anthony Murchison. How you doing today, brother? I'm doing real good. Thank you so much for asking, Anthony. How is your day? How are you doing, brother? How are you doing? Good as well, I hope. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and switch over to this is a let's see here. Let's go to picture in picture. This is a CompuBox stat sheet for current pound for pound fighters and where they rank in CompuBox categories. And now, hold on. Good, just got done working out. All right, Anthony. I'm gonna work out after this stream. Yendez, that made Prize Fighters Leagues. Prize Fighters Leagues. What's this? Hold on. You don't know me, but what's up, man? Wait, who? What's that? What does Yendez making the Prize Fighters League? What's the Prize Fighters Leagues? What's that? You gotta let me know what that is, Yendez. What's the Prize Fighters Leagues? What's that? Well, anyways, while I wait, it's a mobile boxing game. Oh, okay. And there's like competition in Prize Fighters? I didn't even know that. I knew about Prize Fighters, the mobile boxing game, but I didn't know that there was a whole league and an online. Is there like you could go against people in Prize Fighters? It's a mobile game. I made a league with 360 real fighters and real arenas and gyms. Oh, okay. Cool. I see. All right. Now, which that's pretty cool, by the way. You gotta let me know how to get to that. I got this highlighted right here. We got Errol Spence Jr. and we got Terence Bud Crawford. Now, overall, Errol Spence Jr. has more points because the point system, the way they work, overall, is whatever you are, the numbers kind of compound, right? So if you get 10 points for being number 1 in a category, you get 9 points for being number 2, 8 points for being number 3, etc. So Errol Spence Jr., like I've said so many times, throws a heck of a lot of punches. Volume is the name of his game. He is constantly throwing punches. Just to put this in perspective, Inoue, who's much, much smaller, and the smaller divisions normally throw more punches. They're normally the ones that throw the most punches. Inoue is much smaller. He still does not average more punches per round than Errol Spence Jr. The name of Errol Spence's game is volume. He's going to throw so many punches. And in my opinion, the volume is what makes Errol Spence, that's Errol Spence uses his offense as defense. he overwhelms you with volume, so it's harder for you to get an attack going. It's harder for you to get punches going because this guy is an engine that doesn't stop punching. That's why it was such a unique fight to see him versus Sean Porter, because they both have that kind of mentality, this nonstop, continuous punching mentality and or ability. And Errol Spence is one of the leading in terms of punches thrown per round. So, of course, he leads in punches thrown per round, and he got close numbers to 1, 2, or 3, giving him a 78-point score. But Terence Crawford has a better plus minus. Now, the way the plus minus, these are advanced statistics. These statistics are taken, the way you take this is your offense versus your defense effectiveness. So what they do is they don't take the amount of punches you actually throw or land. They take the percentage of punches that connect versus your opponent's total connect percentage. And with Errol Spence Jr., the plus minus, which is basically the amount of punches he lands, the percentage, his 31%, and his total opponent's total connect percentage, you minus 31 from 21.9 and you get 9. You get 9.1. You get 9 point plus minus a plus of 9.1, right? And Terence Crawford is different. His connect percentage is 32.8%, so he's more accurate than Errol Spence, even though he's slightly more accurate. He's more accurate at landing his punches, even though he throws a lot less, 47.8 punches per round. But his his connect percentage is 32.8%. His opponent's connect percentage is 21%, putting him at a plus minus or a plus of 11.8 when you minus his connect percentage to his opponent's total connect percentage. Now, even when it comes to the power punch connect category in the opponent's side, they land 29.2% more on Errol Spence in terms of power punches than they do on Terence Crawford. And if we look at opponents' punches just on the numerical value, not the percentage value, just on the numerical value, the opponent's punches landed per round is 9.7 to Terence Crawford's 7.5. And even if we look at the top guys here in the pound for pound list based off of the CopyBox pound for pound list, yeah, I know, Hashim, Shakur's numbers are ridiculous. Yeah, I didn't. I wasn't gonna say anything because I'm like, damn, man, like that's my guy, and I don't want people to think that I'm just like constantly saying positive things about him. But he has a plus minus of 20.3, which is ridiculously. It laps everybody basically except Dimitri Bivol, who's also really, really good. He slides under the radar for how effective he is. I guess because he's not slick. He's not a slick boxer, but he makes people miss and he hits people. But yeah, Shakur has a plus 20.3, and he actually in the entire CompuBox number, he's the number one in plus minus. So we're just looking at pound for pound, but if we were to put the aggregate of everyone, Shakur Stevenson will be number one. Anyways, my point is Bud Crawford statistically, and by the way, I know a lot of people is like, oh, it's CompuBox. You shouldn't even care about CompuBox. No. You should care about CompuBox. Because here's the thing. CompuBox has been, they've done tests with CompuBox to see how accurate they are. CompuBox, after the multiple tests that were done in terms of video review versus CompuBox stats and all of these things, they saw that CompuBox has a margin of error. Obviously, he's going to have a margin of error of only 2%. So even if you took that 2% and applied it to this, Terence Bud Crawford still gets hit with less power shots than Errol Spence Jr. And even if you flip it a little bit here, it's not that big of a gap. You're not going to get so far away from Terence Crawford in terms of opponents' connect percentage, right? Total connect percentage when it comes to Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. But looking at the power connect percentage, this is a dangerous thing for Errol Spence Jr. This is a really dangerous thing for Errol Spence Jr. because Bud Crawford, look how many punches Bud Crawford throws per round. 47.8. Now, you take that information and you plug it into the fact that Bud Crawford has knocked every single person out. And I get it. Some of them are not knockout cold. Some people quit. Some people, like, it's a TKO or whatever. But it's still enough damage or power or uncomfortability or being uncomfortable. I was just about to make up a word there. Being uncomfortable to the point where everyone in the welterweight division did not go the distance with Terence Bud Crawford. And then you look at all of these punches that Errol Spence Jr. throws, 69 punches per round. No one's even close to him in the welterweight division. By the way, the fact that this dude is Artur Beterbiev is a light heavyweight throwing 60 is mind-blowing. But no one's even close to him. Hold on, I think I messed it up. Let me just go by plus minus. What did I do? All right, here we go. No one's even close to Errol Spence in this department. Even if you look at other divisions, even smaller divisions, they're not throwing, like, they're close, 64, but he's mad little. He should be throwing way more. Errol Spence is still out like throwing way more punches. And how are you throwing all of these punches per round? All of these punches per round, having a similar connect percentage. Terence Crawford being much more accurate, but having a close connect percentage. And you still only have 2 out of 6 knockouts from your last 6 fights, while Terence Crawford has 6 out of 6 knockouts in his last 2 fights. Gabriel Reyes is right, man. Get the likes up, man. Get the likes up. YouTube Boxing 6007, what's going on, brother? These numbers prove Bud's efficiency. Yeah. Shane Boise, what's going on, man? So, when you look at this is basically a quantity versus quality argument. Errol Spence has a lot of quantity. Terence Bud Crawford with 47.8 punches thrown per round, knocking people out, has a lot of quality in his punches. And if you want to say that, oh, but you know, maybe he has more power. I've seen people say Errol Spence has more power, which is insane to me when he's throwing 69 punches per round and not getting even nearly the amount of knockouts that Terence Crawford is getting. How are you going to say Errol Spence has more power? I know this argument is about defense, but how are you going to say Errol Spence has more power than Terence Crawford when you look at the statistical advantages that he has? Throwing less, that means he's landing less, right? By default, because he's overwhelming. If he's throwing all of these punches, he's not landing as efficiently as he is as Terence Crawford, slightly, but he's landing so much more because he's throwing so much more. He's landing 21.4 punches on his opponents. Terence Crawford is landing 15.7 punches on his opponents, yet he's knocking them all out. He's knocking them all out. Men lie, women lie, but numbers are much closer to reality. I'm not going to say numbers don't, because this is still CompuBox, right? This is still somebody pressing a button. But the more important thing about this is that this is not an individual fight. This is an aggregate of all of their fights, which is super important because the specificity of the number itself kind of washes away when different people are pressing these buttons for all your different fights. Not everyone's the same. Everything is different, yet you still your aggregate is still higher. When all the numbers put together, your aggregate is still higher. Errol Spence may be physically stronger in terms of the clinch and overall physical strength and size, but Bud Crawford's punches have way more snap to them. Yes. At Boxing Fanatico by Arcerco, it's because Crawford is the most sharp boxer when someone is hurt, is the best finisher in today's boxing. Yes, he's one of the best finishers. If you're hurt, there's a 90% chance he's going to get you out of there. If you're hurt, there's a 90% chance he's going to get you out of there. I think Charlo class, which even more crazy. What? I think in Charlo class, which is even more crazy. I remember a dude averaging 100 punches per round a few years ago, an Afro-American world champion. I forgot his name. A few years ago. I know Fulton be averaging a lot of punches per round. Let's see here. Hatton, Mayweather, like I said before. My man said Hatton, Mayweather, like I said. Yeah, this is kind of like a Hatton, Mayweather thing too, right? Because Mayweather was more efficient with his punches, while Errol Spence was, Hatton was more volume. But the difference here is that Terence Crawford has that punch snap and that killer instinct. He has that punch snap and that killer instinct. Now, we're going to go to, there's another CompuBox list that I want to pull up here. Okay. Now, these are the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These are the top 10 in CompuBox numbers alone. Just CompuBox numbers. This is not that these are the top 10 pound for pound. These are the people that rank the best in just the numbers themselves, right? So, for example, average fewest power landed per round. Robert Helenius is the number one guy in the world, and this is not a good stat, right? This is a bad stat, but he's one of the number one guys in the world. Terence Crawford, in terms of opponents' total punches landed per round, the fewest. Terence Crawford is in the top. He's in the top 10 in terms of fewest punches landed on his opponent. His opponent landing on him. So he's not just better than Errol Spence. He's one of the best in the world at not getting punched, yet there's a narrative that his defense is garbage. There's a narrative that his defense is garbage. Like he don't got good defense. What I think happens is famous boxers say something and the average viewer or someone who doesn't truly look into all of the information or the data, they just echo what a famous boxer says. Because, hey, look, I don't think this famous boxer has an agenda, or I don't think this famous boxer has a bias, even though they might have a bias, especially if somebody's a stablemate, especially if somebody is part of their team, whatever. They're going to have a bias. They're going to say, well, I'm just going to run with what he says, and I'm going to start telling everybody that Bud Crawford he's not defensively responsible. Yet the stats show that no matter how what position he puts himself in, he's still one of the top 10 least hit overall in boxing, period. Because this list is not just about the pound for pound fighters. This list is in boxing, period. And my man said, what about Gervonta in that list? And opponent's punch, he gets hit a lot. What do you mean? He's not on this list. He gets hit a lot. As a matter of fact, Gervonta Davis has a very unique stat, which is average fewest total punches thrown per round. This man does not throw unless he's going to knock you out. Gervonta Tank Davis does not throw a punch unless he's going to knock you out, which is one of the reasons why Gervonta Tank Davis gets hit. He gets hit a lot because he's waiting for, as I've mentioned in a lot of my different breakdowns, when I was talking about Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Tank Davis, I was talking about how Gervonta Tank Davis is constantly getting hit because he always he's building that one punch in his mind. While you're throwing, what Gervonta Tank Davis is doing is he's building that one punch. What's the one punch? Okay, maybe I could get him with that. Let me see how he reacts when I do this. Okay, let me see if I do it again. Oh, he repeated the same move. Okay, let me do different things to see if maybe I get him to forget about that situation. Let me try it again now. Oh, he's doing the same thing. Okay, maybe I got something open over there. Oh, every time he throws that straight, he kind of opens up a little bit on the left-hand side. Okay, cool. So let me try to get him to throw that straight again. Oh, he threw it again. He caught me a little bit, but I still saw that open spot. Okay, maybe if I hit him to the body, what does he do with his hands? Is that a better position? No, I want to get a good pivot off of my punch. I want to get a good base before I throw it. So how can I get my hands and get in a position and get him to do what I want him to do? Oh, he's throwing again. Throws it straight. Let me get that straight out. Let me paw at his jab so he can throw that straight out. Okay, he threw it again. How long does it take for him to paw that straight out? Oh, there you go. He threw it again. Boom! And then he finishes it. That's what he does. Therefore, he doesn't throw punches, barely, because he's so good at literally fighting you inside of his mind. He's so good at just beating you up inside of his mind until he could get that one punch that'll take you out. That's how Tank fights, which is why he has a very unique stat. The lowest amount of punches thrown, average total punches thrown per round in the entire in boxing, in terms of CompuBox number. If CompuBox is recording your fights, right? I don't think they record like people that are not ranked or whatever, but if they're recording your fights, that he's the lowest. But all of your favorite boxers, they're being recorded on CompuBox. All of your favorite boxers. So my point at the end of the day is simply this. And by the way, see, this is what I'm talking about when it comes to, I'm a stat junkie. So like I get giddy for stats. I'm sorry, especially advanced stats. So I love stats. Like that's my favorite thing. Dimitri, where is it? Where is the one? Which by the way, Demetrius. Okay, so it looks like Demetrius Andre has a 5.4 opponent's total punches landed fewest, which is more than Shakur Stevenson, which is pretty good by a point one. And Dimitri Bivol, look at how Dimitri Bivol is up here in the defensive numbers. He's up here in the defensive numbers because he's just that good. Power, connect percentage. This is how accurate. See what I mean? Gervonta Tank Davis is number one. Shakur Stevenson is number two. This just shows how crazy Shakur Stevenson is, that he's like hanging at number ones and twos and all these different stats. But Gervonta Tank Davis is number one at 47.7% because he waits. He waits to land that perfect punch. He doesn't throw much, but he's super smart when he actually punches. He's very, very accurate. He's very, very, very accurate. So looking at all of these stats is just very total connect percentage. David Benavidez, 38.4%. So this is total. David Benavidez leads, right? Plus minus in the entire boxing. See, as I mentioned, Shakur Stevenson, number one. And then it's David Benavidez. And then it's Dimitri Bivol, because Dimitri Bivol don't play. Then Vasily Lomachenko, Gervonta Tank Davis is next. Inoue, then Canelo, Demetrius Andre, and then Ioka and Leo Santa Cruz. So these are the best plus minuses. But anyways, I can get lost in stats. Right? But the main point that I'm trying to make, and by the way, average power punch connect in terms of hitting you, because you can get hit with the jab or whatever, but in terms of getting hit overall with power punches, Shakur Stevenson is the number one least hit by a mile. The next one is Dimitri Bivol. I also want you guys to understand how skilled Dimitri Bivol is, because I think he didn't get enough love for his actual skills. Like, this man got a lot of skills, bro. Highest jab land percentage. Look who's doing that. Highest jabs, he throws the most and he lands the most. That is a devastating stat. You mean to tell me he's throwing more jabs than everybody, but he's landing more too? That's crazy. He's landing at a higher percentage than everybody, and he's throwing at a higher percentage than everybody. Well, anyways, those were the stats that I wanted to show just to prove that you can find weaknesses in Terence Crawford's game. As mentioned, when he gets on the inside, he gets a little bit reckless because he's fishing for knockouts. He's not pushing for the knockout, but he's fishing. It's a little bit different. When you're pushing for the knockout, you're even more sloppy. When you're fishing for the knockout, the Tank, for example, fishes for the knockout, right? Terence Crawford fishes for the knockout, and that takes a lot of skill to be in the trenches and fish for the knockout, find the knockout, and get it. That takes a lot of skills. But when it comes to actual numbers, Terence Bud Crawford has way better defense than Errol Spence Jr. What Errol Spence Jr. has as a positive, is his volume punching. people don't want that to be his positive for some reason. They want him to be like this slick, like super smart fighter that does all of these traps and tricks. He doesn't do that. That's not his forte. His thing is his engine. His amount of punches that he's going to throw is damage over time. That's what he has. Now, that could work for him. That is his only thing that I believe will give him the win over Terence Crawford if he continuously overwhelms Terence Crawford. But that could also work against him because people like Terence Crawford, they base their punches and their attack off of what they can do to counter your attack. And if all you're doing is throwing punches nonstop, then there's so many different ways that Terence Crawford can see an opening to finally hit you if you're just consistently throwing punches nonstop. Now, you could flip that and get to the reverse aspect because sometimes boxers are so good, they take you out of your character. For example, Manny Pacquiao was one, if he was still fighting, he would be really high in these stats here as well. He used to throw an insane amount of punches, sometimes throwing almost 100 punches per round, every round, sometimes even getting 1,000 punches per fight. But when he fought Floyd Mayweather, he punched the lowest he's ever punched ever when he fought Floyd Mayweather. Why? Because there were so many opportunities for Floyd to counter him if he went wild. And even though he tried to do it, he realized very quickly that if he does this, it's going to be a very long night for him or a very short night for him, if you get what I'm saying, because Floyd would have probably knocked him out. So he had to become punch shy. A lot of people don't know, like a lot of people think, oh, he got his shoulder hurt, so that's why he, no. Floyd took away all of his different tools, so he had to, because of the fear of getting countered, he had to figure out, so he started thinking more. And when he was thinking, he wasn't punching. So this could be the case where Errol Spence comes out of character and starts punching less. My opinion is if he does do that, that will definitely work against him because now he will be out of his element. His number one tool will be gone, and Terence Crawford will be able to take control even more because Terence Crawford will be in his element. So it's two things that could work against Errol Spence. Either he changes up and doesn't give all those opportunities to Terence Crawford to knock him out, or he keeps the volume going and it helps Terence Crawford find openings to knock him out. The only thing that in my mind that he could do is go with the strategy of throwing volume, stay within himself, but be super effective in doing that. And that's going to be super tough to do versus Bud Crawford. Super tough to do. All right, now let's go ahead and switch back here so I could take a look at you guys, what you guys are saying. Sorry about that. Once again, I'm a stat junkie. I love stats. All right. Okay, Hatton Mayweather is because Crawford is much sharper. I think we talked about that already. Yeah, Tank does get caught quite a bit. However, he did a good job with defense against Ryan. Looked the best he's been in a while. Yeah, definitely. He did really good against Ryan. Level of opposition and when they fought counts. Look at his last KOs. Last fight, Uber driver Amir Khan knocked out 3 times before he fought Crawford, and he just quit. Wasn't a KO. Yeah, but like, if you quit, that's to me, that's still a KO. It's not a knockout code, right? It's just like if you get a TKO, that's not like how Marquez did to Manny Pacquiao, put him to sleep for 2 minutes. Like, you can start chipping away at every single knockout. Oh, that was just the referee stopped that one. That wasn't really like he was hurt. Oh, nah, that's it. Manny slept for 2 minutes. This guy only slept for 1 minute, so he wasn't hurt as much as Manny was. When you could chip away at anything. To me, if you quit, if you make somebody give up and quit, to me, that's a knockout. That's a knockout. You mentally knocked them out, right? There's so many different ways you could get a knockout. That's a mental knockout. That's a no mas. A no mas to me, Roberto Duran got knocked out by Sugar Ray Leonard. Roberto Duran got knocked out by Sugar Ray Leonard. Why? Because he mentally knocked him out. He said, I can't do nothing to this man. I quit. That's a little bit worse. That means you got all your cognitive, you have the ability to cognitively decide to keep on going, you decide to stop. That's worse. That could be worse, because if you get knocked out cold, you have no choice. You have no choice. All right, so that's besides the point, though. Also, that's not recent level of competition. That's level of competition overall. That is the aggregate overall. That is both Errol Spence and Terence Crawford's overall aggregate numbers. Overall, in their entire fight. All of their fights. So, no, I'm sorry. It's not who did they fight recently. This is not that. And you could take Amir Khan off that list. The last 6 people that he's fought, he's knocked them all out. Even if Amir Khan wasn't there, he's knocked everyone out at the welterweight division. He's knocked everyone out at the welterweight division. He's knocked out people that like are super tough and don't get knocked out, like Sean Porter. Sean Porter don't get knocked out by nobody. That dude is tough, but he knocked him out. And this is a equal opponent between him and Errol Spence. And Errol Spence had trouble with Sean Porter. So, I mean, you could bend reality to make it feel more good for you, but this is what's really happening. The numbers are what's really happening. You just put into words what words I couldn't describe. He imagines what his opponent does so much and thinks of so many ways he can capitalize. You guys are talking about the Tank, right? Once he sees you repeatedly make an error, it's game over. Yeah. That's what he did to Leo Santa Cruz. Well, he was like, "Oh, you throwing an uppercut? Oh, he throwing another one?" And they just got him right there. Hey, what you think about Prograis? He's the most underrated boxer to me. I think he's really skilled. I think he's very, very skilled. I would enjoy a fight between Regis Prograis and Devin Haney. I think that would be nice. I personally would prefer him fight Tank for Undisputed. But I wouldn't mind seeing him fight Prograis if, in fact, he moves up to 140. I wouldn't mind. Wilder just behind Gennady Golovkin in jab connect percentage. Yeah, because the dude is a jab. He be jabbing, man. He be jabbing. The dude be jabbing. Kazuda Ioka is so good. 122 and below does not get nearly enough love. I know, man. The smaller guys never really get love like that, man. I remember it was like climbing a mountain to get people to know about Chocolatito Gonzalez when he was in his heyday. It was like, what the heck? Inoue, same thing. For me to watch Inoue fights back in the days, I had to go use my laptop to watch the fights in Japan. Like it was only airing in Japan, but you could watch it through online. And there was nobody even talking about Inoue. When I was looking at Inoue when he was coming up, there was nobody talking about it. I had to literally get on my laptop to watch it. And I didn't understand what anybody was saying because, boxing is self-explanatory. You could just watch and know what's happening. But even the commentary wasn't localized for the English market. It was just 100% Japanese. Bivol beats Beterbiev in my opinion. I honestly have Bivol beating Beterbiev too. Believe it or not. Bivol is nice, yes. Kell Brook watched EJ KO him in his hometown and took his strap. Sean Porter never hurt Dad, just stopped the fight. You can see by the people's face who hit harder. He dropped him twice in quick succession. And you mean to tell me that Terence Crawford, he's dropping Sean Porter, the number one killer in boxing, the number one finisher in boxing, dropped you twice? It's only a matter of time before it's pretty much donezo. It's only a matter of time before it's pretty much donezo. So I think what his father did was save him from getting to that point. He didn't need to get to that point. His father already saw it coming. He didn't need to get to that point. You don't get dropped twice like that in quick succession if there's not issues happening right now. If you're not hurt, right? You're allowing these punches to come in this way. Something's wrong. And his father saw that and pulled him out. Paul Williams averaged over 100, I think. Oh, yeah, Paul Williams, he was a rangy fighter that fought like he had Mike Tyson arms. This dude never stopped punching. I still remember, y'all remember the video where he's like, the dude's holding his arm, and his arms are so long that he still uppercut the dude by going around his own arm and then hitting the dude? Y'all remember that? Go watch it. Paul Williams uppercut around his arm or something like that. Put it on YouTube. Dude was holding his arm. He thought he was safe, and Paul Williams said, whoop, and like, boop, hit him in the head like crazy. Like, I can't even, there's no way I could do that. But the way he did it was clean, real clean. Who has fought better competition? It's hard to say. It's hard to say. It's truly hard to say. Even though people think, Danny Garcia, he was better competition, but you got to take what Terence Crawford is saying. It makes a lot of sense. Danny Garcia at 147 is not the same Danny Garcia that he was at. Danny Garcia at 140 was dominating, but Danny Garcia at 147 wasn't doing crazy stuff, right? He wasn't doing crazy stuff. If you do tit for tat, like a Mikey Garcia is the equivalent of an Amir Khan in terms of accomplishments. And Mikey Garcia had to come up 2 divisions to fight Errol Spence Jr., right? So there's so many different variations on what could be considered a better opponent or a better opposition at the time. It's not cut and dry, even though that's the consensus that a lot of people are trying to make, but it ain't cut and dry. And Terence Crawford fought some beasts, man. Even in during the time when he was in the smaller division, he fought a prime Yuriorkis Gamboa. A prime Yuriorkis Gamboa. All right, exactly, because if you make someone quit, that could be even more of a flex than an out cold KO, depending on who you ask. Yeah, that's a flex. That to me is a bigger flex. That's a bigger flex. Hashim 47, D Rose, no way you're calling Amir Khan 2-time world champion and silver medalist and Uber driver. Stop it. He crazy, man. He crazy. He just gonna say the thing that make it feel the best for him so he can feel good when he put his head on his pillow at night and go to sleep. That's it. Oh, I want Spence to win so bad, so I'm just gonna say the thing that make me, you know what I'm saying, that make me feel good. And all this makes me feel good. Amir Khan's trash. But granted, if Amir Khan would have fought Errol Spence with the same record, the same everything, and Terence Crawford would have fought Mikey Garcia would have been the small guy that went up 2 weight divisions to fight. He was garbage. He never really fought nobody. Look at Amir Khan's resume and da-da-da-da-da. It would have been flipped. The whole argument would have been flipped. But because Errol Spence fought him and not Terence Crawford, because Terence Crawford fought him and not Errol Spence, now all of a sudden Amir Khan's a bum. People forget that Amir Khan beat Molina Jr. People forget that Amir Khan beat Marcos Maidana. People forget that Amir Khan beat Devin Alexander. All that stuff, people forget it. Why? Because it's convenient. First dude to stop Porter was Crawford. Exactly. But now they're going to say, oh no, he didn't really lose. He wasn't hurt. His father took him out. I don't care how it happens. Like, it's still a knockout. Do you not understand? If your corner throws in the towel, it's still a knockout. If the doctor stopped it because of a cut, it's still a knockout. If the referee stopped it because you're getting beat up, it's a knockout. If you said, I can't fight this man no more because I don't know what to do, that's a knockout. You're splitting hairs with knockouts now. Now we got to go into everyone's knockouts and determine if that's a good knockout or a bad knockout. A knockout is a knockout. Guys need to be fair in their analysis. The Bud stand and Errol stands are legit discrediting their favorite fighter by trying to destroy their accomplishments. Exactly. They both fought good guys. Let's be real. That's my point. My point is, I'm not saying that Bud has a better record or resume than Errol Spence. I'm just saying, does Errol Spence actually have a better record than Bud? That's a different thing. Does he actually have a better record, or is there similarities? For every Mikey Garcia that you point out, can somebody just point out an Amir Khan and even the equation? Right? For every time you're looking at this guy over here, a Danny Garcia, we looking at a Jose Benavidez Jr. Right? Or we're looking at a Yuriorkis Gamboa. So there's a lot of different things that you could kind of put together. You could kind of say, hey, you know what? It's not like that he got a better resume. It's that this thing is pretty close. It's pretty even. This is a really good 50-50 fight. I have Bud winning, and I've shown you stats today, and I've shown you breakdowns using stats in my videos, but this is one of those true 50-50 fights. This is one of those true 50-50 fights. Come on, that Porter KO was BS. His dad was on some BS. Here we go. Of course, bro, stop it. He beat Porter, period, regardless if it's stopped or not. I know that's what. Hey, listen, that's what I'm saying. Better BF got caught so much by clean punches against Yarde. Yeah, Yarde was winning that fight. Yarde doesn't move good. Only his 1-2 is fast, and he really not a good finisher, but he managed to keep landing on him through the rounds. Yeah. People keep talking down on Bud. I want to know if they will give him credit if he beats EJ, or will it be the same BS? Well, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it could be the excuses or something. Who knows, man? Who knows? That's why not only am I predicting a knockout, but I'm also hoping for a knockout in either direction. Because I just don't want it to be like, nah, he really won. Because people just, to this day, people think Manny Pacquiao beat Floyd Mayweather. To this day, people think Marcos Maidana beat Floyd Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you could clearly beat somebody, and if somebody just wanted it because they had an invested interest, like they care so much about this one fighter winning, they could just push the narrative that one fighter won. And what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You can't tell them otherwise. They're going to be like, nah, I'm not hearing it. Manny Pacquiao won against Floyd. I'm positive Bivol smokes better be it. I think Bivol will beat him. I do think so. I agree as well. A no mas is a bigger flex than a straight KO. Yep. From looking at the stats, do you honestly see it as a 50-50 fight? If not, what do you have it as? I still truly have it as a 50-50 fight because being efficient is not everything. Being efficient is not everything. If you look at Errol Spence's volume, it's so much volume that he lands so much more than Terence Bud Crawford. His volume allows him to land so much more. His differentiator, in my opinion, is his volume. And I think his volume lends to his defense at the same time. Like, the fact that he throws so much, it almost stifles his opponents from throwing back at him because they're going to get hit in the exchange because he's not going to stop punching. So that helps him kind of control his opponents with his heavy activity. So I do think that if he uses that correctly against Bud, he has an opportunity to beat Bud because that's his forte. He doesn't have as many tools in the toolbox like Bud. Bud can adjust and change and do different things, while Errol Spence fights one way, but it's a very effective one way. So can he use that one way of fighting to beat Bud Crawford? That's something that we're going to have to see because sometimes the one way of fighting takes you really far. It takes you very, very far. I mean, Manny Pacquiao, I'm not going to say that he has one way, but he has a very specific way that he likes to fight. And sure, there's a few adjustments here and there. There's a few tricks that he does. Same thing with Errol Spence, but there's a primary thing that they do. While Terence Bud Crawford, he doesn't have a primary thing necessarily. He has so many different things where he can do so many different things in the ring with different fighters. He can fight completely different. And just because he goes southpaw doesn't mean that that's his thing, right? He's doing different things inside of the fight itself. Meanwhile, Errol Spence Jr. is just giving you this massive amount of volume that works for the majority of people. Will that work for Terence Bud Crawford? That's the answer that we need. That's the question that we need answered in the fight. So yes, I do believe that even though the efficiency isn't there in terms of Bud could land less and still knock you out, while Errol Spence lands more and doesn't really knock you out, and it takes a lot of time for him to get you out of there, or he struggles getting you out of there, or struggles with you, period, like with Sean Porter. I don't know if he could still have enough with that volume to overwhelm Terence Crawford. But at the end of the day, I do believe that the amount of tools in Terence Crawford's tool belt is what's going to give him that win against Errol Spence Jr. I'm late and missed the stats. Who gets hit more, Errol or Bud? Errol does. Errol gets hit more. You can watch it back if you want, but we went through a lot of the different stats in the copy box. It was really interesting because we were looking at different stuff like Dimitri Bivol and Tank stats and what does Tank lead in and stuff like that. So yeah, it was fun. You should go back and watch it when the stream is over. Amir Khan will forever be a G to me, especially with his decision to move up 2 weight classes to fight a 25-year-old monster Canelo. Yeah, he's a beast, man. He's a beast. All right. But I think it's safe to assume Fanatico isn't talking about straight BS KOs. What do you mean? Hold on. What are you talking about? Straight Rolly's KO with some BS. That's a fair take. LOL. Yeah. I mean, but it's still, at the end of the day, things are BS, right? People feel like people get robbed. Sometimes people do get robbed. It's still a KO. It's still a KO. Because then we're going to start splitting hairs on KO. We're going to start, if a referee stops a fight, it's a KO. Damn, bro. Missed y'all. Hey, what's going on? I was out. Now it's all cool, AP, whatever. All right, if people are still not giving Bud or Errol credit at this point, they probably ain't about to start. Yeah, yeah. But I like to show stats, man. I like to show stats. People also think De La Hoya beat Floyd to this day. Yeah, exactly. Which is crazy to me after rewatching it. I had it 116. Yeah, it was a lot of activity with with barely any substance. A lot of activity with barely any substance. You can't say a KO is a KO except that one is BS. I didn't say that. You talking about the Rolly one, right? Nah, I didn't say that. That's also a KO. A KO is a KO. The Amir Khan KO wasn't that clean. It was Amir Khan feeling like he got low blowed and he couldn't continue or whatever. The rules are you get 5 minutes. Right? If it's an unintentional low blow, it was not a stern warning given beforehand. You get 5 minutes. He said no, he just couldn't continue. He quit. He could have used that as a way out. They're gonna say EJ was weight drained. They better not say he was weight drained. This man lives in the 147 division. He's lived there his entire life. They better not say he was weight drained. Oh, man. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and end it right there. We had a blast. Thank you so much, guys. Let me get y'all with the DJ horn, man, because that was awesome. Thank you so much, guys. We're going to go ahead and end the stream here. Of course, remember, hit the like on your way out, please. And we're live every Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, same time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. So we'll be back on Friday. I'm glad you guys enjoyed episode 20 where we looked at the stats. It looks like you guys definitely enjoyed it. Episode 20 was a banger. Good live, bro. Thank you so much. Spence been at 147 for hella years. If they pull out the weight drain card, I'm going to be fuming. Yeah, man. Hit the like, guys. Hit the like. Thank you, Houston Scott. Love that, man. We could debate. But there's still mutual respect. I 100% love that, man. Hit the like, guys. Again, see you on Friday. Peace out, guys. Thank you so much. Had a blast. Go back and watch the video if you haven't seen the parts where we was looking at the stats. It's really good. It's really, really good.